Welcome back to our lessons on Access. So we are talking about queries, so we continue today doing our queries. Now, today I want us to do a query that will be used to extract our customers based on their gender here. So assume you want to see your customers, and based on gender, who has many points. Now, there is two ways you can do this. The first way is you can create two queries, and each one will be used to extract the male, and the other one will be used to extract the female gender. But that's tedious. So another easy way of doing this is by using you create a macro that will extract the gender here based on input from a form, So what that means is we will create a form here that will allow us to enter the gender, either male or female, then press a button and it gives us the gender that we want. So let's start this. So let's close this, and the first thing we do is create a form. So we go to create, and we say form design. What we get is this. Perfect. So here what we do is we need a text box where we'll be able to enter our search or criteria that we use to search. So this is the text box here. So just click on it, come here, and draw it there. Perfect. So here what I'll do is, if I double click here, I'll say input the gender. Put the gender. Perfect. Then this text box here, what I'll do is I'll give it a name because I'll need to use it when I'm doing writing my macros. So what I do is click on this text box, enable the property sheet here, then come on all. Then here where it is written name for the text box, that is now text 0, just change this to text gender, or any name that you want. So text gender, and I remember that. Perfect. One thing that I'll do here is I'll do a label at the top here so that we know what the form does. Then I'll say search for customers based on gender. Perfect. So just give this a bit of editing, say bold, color, go with that color, and a bit of size, throw in 20. Okay, there we have that. So just increase this. So too big. Let's drop down to 16, and I just do that. There we are. Perfect. Okay, now this one is okay. So what we need now is let us do a simple button here that will be used to automate our query so that we get the data that we want or to filter. So you come to design tab here and pick the button here, and just on your form draw the button there. So you get this, just close that. So the first thing here is written command. So just come to the name here and call this search. Perfect. Then the button also here, right, search, so that we know this is a search button, and there we are. So there is our button. Now we need to automate this button to do our search. So we want it to open our query, but we don't have the query here first of all. So let's save this first of all, and save it as gender. So save. So let us do our query. So we come to create here, and we do query design. Select that query, and what we want is the table customer. So click on it, add or double click, and there we are. So here display the customer ID, first name, last name, and the gender. Then lastly, let's do the points. Perfect. Now remember here, the gender we want is to display the gender based on the input that we get from our form here. So whatever we enter here on the text box is what is supposed to filter data from here. So how do we do that? So we just come to the criteria option here on the gender column, and just come here and build, and there we are. So inside here, we throw in our expression that will be used to do to extract our data. So square bracket, what we want here is forms. So we want the input to come from forms. That's what we are saying. So close the square bracket, do an exclamation mark that way. Then what we want, which form do we want? The form we want here is gender. So you can see the Access is already giving you the forms that you need. The form we want is gender. So double click on gender. Then so we are selecting forms and the form we want is gender. Then we want the form gender. What we want is the field text gender, and you can see what we are getting here. So we want is this field txt gender. Perfect, there it is. So remember, forms, which means the forms we want to get our input from the forms. Then the form we want is gender, which is this second option, and from the gender form what we want is the text box, which is txt gender. Perfect. Close that. So we have your formula there. So save this query and call it gender query. Okay, perfect. So we can close this query for now. We come back to our form here. So on the search, this search form here or search button, right click on it and come to build event here. So you get options here. What we want is the macro builder here. So click on it and do okay. And there we are. So on the macro builder here, we select the option we want from this drop down here. So what we want is to open our query. So just come here and search open query, and there we are. So open query, then press enter. Then it will ask you which query name. So you come here and you select your query. So our query is gender. So we want it to be in datasheet, edit mode, everything else is okay there. So save that macro and close it. Now let's test our form. So if we save our form and we open it in form view, this is our form. So input the gender here, let's say male. Now if I press search, it's only supposed to show me the males only. So search, see, that is the gender that we are getting, only the males. So close this. Let's test again now with females. Female, search. You can see we are getting the females only. So this is the best way of creating a search in case where you want to search for more or filter more data columns. So in this case now, you see you had the option of creating two queries, one for female and one for gender, but we can do that with a single form, and you can see this single form allows us to get all the genders or all the data that we want to search for. So hope this is clear and hope we've gotten it. So remember, what you need is you create a form, you put a text box here and a search button. Then you come to the query here. Then you say the form that you want and the form name and the text that you want to filter, or the text box that you want to filter from. So thank you for watching.